NRM branch chairman, Ntinda Parish, and I am doing a lot of other things. I'm a councillor emeritus, 25 years as councillor, Ntinda Parish, but we keep on changing positions in order to let the young ones also follow up. This is the greatest thing we have ever done, and Nakawa basically has been that. During my 25 years, Nakawa had never been beaten in politics, and we did it even when it was so critical that NRM, all other divisions or districts for that matter, because Nakawa is a district, we had never lost an election. Before we were divided into two, NRM remained on top in Nakawa division. And the president knows it, and everybody else knows Nakawa is a stronghold of NRM. We have been with our MPs. We would change from one to another, but we remain focused. At this juncture, I want to congratulate His Excellency for the victory that he scored by his insistence of teaching Ugandans what Uganda means and how it has developed from the grassroots to the top. And when he was in the campaigns this Kisanja, he never talked about looking for votes. That would be his last appeal. But as a good leader and who knows leadership, knew where his strength lies. His strength lies at the grassroots. And that's why I am a branch chairman at the grassroots up to now. A good leader is that leader who leads not because he's a good leader, but that leader who makes sure that in whatever he's doing, he's promoting those other leaders to get to a level he is, to first of all educate them economically, politically, and naturally, to be leaders of others. Earlier than His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni were looking at themselves as leaders, and they called themselves leaders, when actually they were not thinking about the people they were leaving behind. But when Museveni got into the office, he made sure he didn't leave even a single person behind. Be educated, be poor in education, be a lousy person on the grassroots, because he's a leader of all. And he made sure he does not leave the people he has been leading to the same position they are. Going to swear in is celebration of the victory, particularly in Kampala. The last Kisanja, the opposition claimed victory, which they didn't know what it means. And that victory, they claimed, they never realized the politics of this nation. They never realized the politics of His Excellency Kaguta Yoweri Museveni and his leadership. By the way, this country is not being led by Museveni alone. He has groomed leaders who have done so much for this nation. Recognized or not recognized, they are doing a good job for the party and for NRM. And NRM has built a strong base that for you to tamper with it, you can tamper with it using the modern .com technology. But when it comes to reality, it does not surface. Because of his popularity and his zeal on teaching Ugandans, he has groomed so many people that there is no one single point where he can hold them and be able to entertain them and be able to tell them what he wants. unless he goes to a large place like Kololo. His Excellency does not count the 40 years he has been in leadership. He's counting the 5 years from 12th. This is his first Kisanja as far as he's concerned. And when he's doing what he's doing, he does it for the next 5 years, because that's what Ugandans chose, that he should lead them 5 years, and they give a mandate to him after he has done his best. If he does well, they give it back to him. And if he doesn't, they will tell him, Mister, go aside, and we put somebody else, when he has actually accepted and seen that he has gone weak. But all this time, he has put blocks, he has put concrete in his leadership that nobody can challenge him. KCCA is a heart of this nation. It is the capital city of Uganda. It is the face of Uganda. When you see us cutting our hair and looking nice only on the head, if you undress us, we could be very dirty. But the KCCA is our head and the face of this country. And for him to lose in this face, on the face here, was a very big tragedy for NRM. But fortunately, he stood firm and said, I am not going to Kampala last. He went around, but he came to Kampala last. He is now starting from Kampala because it is the heart of Uganda. It is a very important victory for NRM. By the way, when I'm talking about NRM, I'm not talking about Museveni. I'm talking about the leadership of NRM headed by His Excellency, the President. Because a head is always the best. It must always be the best. And when we are choosing him to lead us, we know he has the best vision for this country, and he has demonstrated it in the 40 years. There is not a single president in this country who has led Uganda for even a quarter of the time he has led this country. And we look forward, if possible, if he is still alive and strong as he is, to give him another Kisanja. The most important thing for Museveni is what I started with, that don't leave your subordinates where you found them if you are a leader. A leader walks along a very thin rope, which he tries to make sure that that rope is strong. And when he's moving upward and leading this country, he makes sure he leaves these people not in the same way he found them. He found them, poverty was running at 65%. Right as we talk, we are at 30%. And to me, that is victory. And that victory must be celebrated quite well. And the Ugandans see that what we are celebrating is for us all. You look at the development in this country. What was Mabira Forest is now factory forest. What were potholes in the city, the face of NRM, is now a paradise. You can drive, you can move, and make sure others are flying over, others are passing under. And the roads, that is in general the infrastructure, for so many years, oil has been in this country. People have come and they leave it there. We have discovered oil. We have discovered minerals. We have discovered, apart from oil, quite a lot of other minerals have been discovered. Now we have a factory of cement right in the heart of Karamoja, where they were saying we don't have to wait for Karamoja. For us, we must go ahead, Karamoja will follow later. But now Karamoja is going to run with him. And that is showing you that he's not leaving Ugandans the way he found them. He's leaving them at a level that everybody will be happy about. There is nothing that helps us to develop. There is nothing that can take place in this country without peace. Peace is the base or the foundation of our development. And if we have to develop, if we have to achieve whatever we want to achieve, the first issue we have to discuss is security. When we are secure, everybody is able to do the right thing at the right time. And the development we are seeing around us, the beautiful Kampala we are seeing about us, not only in Kampala, but we have now cities. We used to have only one city in this country. Because of that peace, we now have cities. We used to have one university in this country. About 50 universities have been built. You know why? Because they all want to read and become leaders of this country. There is one thing that it is disturbing. Development makes sure that things are happening the right way. And this country has a duty with the leadership that it has to make sure that good things are welcome. But things which are going to divert us, things which are going to destroy us, we enter into them with a lot of care. Development of digital transformation and the rise from an economic, the economic transformation was our first goal. Now, when you economically develop, remember there is a lot of technology that is supposed to be got. And these countries which are developed now, they came through technology. And that is our basis to make sure that NRM falls in that category in order to run with the world that is moving. We are now, with Parish Development Medal, we are picking the lowest person on the grassroots to make sure he comes to the money economy. Now, when you bring us to the money economy, we are now running at the same pace with all other leaders, and the nation is driven not by one person, but driven by everybody who is in this country. If you look at what was happening in Parliament, where opposition called all those interested parties to come and abuse the sovereignty bill, I don't know whether they had been reading, whether they have been seeing, or whether they have studied other economies. For you to be strong, the only thing you must love is patriotism. And patriotism is our foundation to make sure that our development depends on how much we love Uganda. We were telling them about patriotism. They didn't understand it. They didn't know that in the backyard there was lack of patriotism. That is why we were suffering the way we were. Now, our patriotism starts with loving Uganda. The opposition was saying, oh, who tells you that you must tell me how much I should love Uganda? It's not everybody who loves himself even. There are people who hang themselves. Let us start from that point. You can see a man putting a rope up, and when he's about to die, he puts a hand in the rope to make sure that he releases himself. Ignorance of himself even. Now, when you talk about a nation, you're talking about loving your country wholeheartedly. And the bill that they were abusing, they made sure they called religious leaders, they called civil organization, the people who are receiving money from out to come and help when the money was not even reaching the coffers of those organs, and people had got used to them. And when you have to get them out of that dungeon of leaders who are saying, where is Uganda going? Why is it going so fast? They will come and use those organizations to come and bull us. But unfortunately, because our vision is far ahead of some of these people who are bringing up these issues that we were seeing, but there was not yet time for us to tell them, stop there, because we are actually running to the world economy, income generating activities, and making sure that we come to a nation that is in the first world as soon as possible. So now, Uganda is the only country that is developing at a very fast rate. And these guys are getting shaken. They are getting to misunderstand why we are developing very fast. It is the vision of the leadership of NRM. The trade order was long overdue. It had been politicized. We would now fall in the games of the opposition because they were leaders in KCCA. The biggest problem we had was the top leadership of KCCA. We tried, when it was still KCC, to develop this city, but it was not possible. I was a leader, I was a councillor for 25 years. I didn't see any parish develop the way it is developing now, simply because only when we introduced the authority, I want to assure you that I live in Ntinda. We had proposed that Nakawa becomes a satellite city, but the distractors came and cheated the president and lied to him that they were going to make a satellite city in Makampala, when they were actually looking for their own money. But as of now, putting in leadership in the Kampala City Authority has developed in a way that we do not need to politicize its development. And that development must now work for the people of Uganda, to show a clean face of our leadership. If the city is disorganized by those people, at one time they even changed roads, like in Nkrumah. They turned it into a trading center. And yet there are people who have shops along those streets. And those people who are in the shops are paying taxes. People who are not paying taxes laid their goods on the street, and now that attracted even the shopkeepers to pull their things on the street, because it is the order of the day. That continued, and it became a menace for this case. Now, when the money economy came in, they all came to look for the money. But they must find a policy on the ground that is denying them to come and sit anywhere and start selling, because there are people there who have been selling and they will continue selling. For that matter, it was important for a cut-off level to make sure that there is a cut-off time of knowing when everything should end. Every beginning of anything has an end. When the policies were not very clean, we've moved and made sure the head who was giving us trouble in Kampala by being elected was removed. And when we removed him, that was the time to make sure that Kampala gets clean. And these people, we are not cleaning them, tell them to go back home. We are cleaning them to give them markets which are abundant, which are empty. When you go to all the markets that have been built, which have been built in Kampala, they are all empty, but people are on the street. And disturbing people, robbing them, because the people who come on the streets are not vetted. They come at their own time. And anybody who has merchandise to sell will come on the street. Owino had become empty. Seka had become empty. People were coming to work on the street. And that was a very big dilemma. This is why I ran here, to make sure that Ugandans should come with us and we celebrate. First of all, Nakawa has been honored for what it has done to the president. President sweared and said, 2026, I'll make sure Kampala comes back. And he has done the best he could to impress Kampala people. And the first division or district, for that matter, in this country, brought up what he wanted. I want to be proud and say that in my parish, both the women councillor and the male councillor all came up and they won the election. We have an MP, though we have not had a chance of taking on the second MP, who actually has been financed by this very same government. He's the head of opposition. All the money that he had to push it into elections, and people voted him in. But they have now known that what they did was wrong, and Nakawa has now been honored to do the kasiki for His Excellency. We have to celebrate this victory because it has taken us to the highest level that we were at the beginning of this leadership. His Excellency got 73% sometime back in 2006. He never got it again. It started dwindling in the next elections. But this time, he has shot up. And he didn't ask anybody for votes, but he taught them what they were supposed to know. At Kololo Airstrip, there is everything for everybody to enjoy. We are going to do it overnight. We shall do it until the day we swear in our MPs. I'm looking forward to see you there, and make sure you come with 2 other people or 3 to enjoy this celebration. Please, if you have any hiccup of knowing where Kololo is, call me. I'm on 0772 or 0702, same number, 413 774. I'm Stephen Kabuleta and a leader of the party that is in power. And we want to remain in power as long as we are alive. I thank you very much for listening to me, and I look forward to seeing you in Kololo. When we are coming to celebrate, we are saying, long live NRM, long live His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, long live Uganda, long live Africa, long live East Africa, long live our beautiful country, Uganda. I thank you very much.
UBC, inspiring.